Yeah, it says we're live.
All right. We did it. Bam, bam, bam.
We did what? We hit a button.
That's right. We did it. The internet did it.
Oh, correction, you hit a button.
Yeah. Okay. I think if that's ready, I shared show notes. I got the videos up. I'm going to have to remember to hit TVGP 2 instead of TVGP 3. So we don't have 3 people here.
I'm looking forward to the point where my face gets stretched across 2 windows.
That's right. Well, let's try it here. That looks normal. That looks normal. All right. There we go. I did it. Yes.
Yeah, you did it at the practice time, dude. You did not do it
I know when it
the
comes to
heat is
game
on.
time.
When it's time to like listen, read the chat, and do it all at the same time.
That's right. I've never failed at it. I'm so good.
And it never once says the wrong name under my picture.
Nope, definitely not.
I saw you double check. You looked
happened.
and double checked and made sure that it was correct.
I mean, strike while iron's hot, man.
Hey, I checked before I actually said it, just to be safe.
All right. Are you ready to get started with this episode?
Sure.
All right. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast, aka TVGP. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpear.
Hello. I was not yawning into my hand, I swear.
No, totally. We are ready and raring to go for podcasting.
Nip is off. Sugar.
That's right. Nimp is off on vacation this week. Should be joining us again next week. Let's do a quick plug here for patreon.com/E1M1.
Ones and numbers or some such jazz.
Get all the behind the scenes, early access, uncensored, exclusive, all sorts of adjectives for all the great audio we put out over there, like the weekly Outcast, talking about all the non-video game stuff happening in our lives. This week, we talked a lot about video games. So
we did.
Yeah, so if you wanna like an extra dose of video game stuff, I got that over there. Also have early access to We Roguelike It and Critical Misses. We Roguelike It is where Moon and I are playing way too many roguelikes, pretty much one every 4 weeks, and then the scientists come in and pass judgment.
50 shrooms so far.
That's right. That's right. And then Critical Misses, where Moon and I are catching up on all the media hits we missed. It's books, movies, music, no TV shows or comics yet, but maybe at some point.
We probably need to do that at some point this year, let's face it.
Yeah, probably. If you want to hear all of our cool behind the scenes production meetings though about Critical Misses, you can get that at the $5 tier or higher. That's the exclusive stuff over there on that tier. We'll talk about how we make the show, what the seasons are, what we're adding, what we're removing, look into the endless black hole of media that is the Critical Misses spreadsheet, which is definitely super clean and well organized.
Yep.
Yeah, it's impeccable.
No chaos or anarchy in this group. No, it's all.
Nope, definitely not. You can hear that also at the $5 tier or higher. Exclusive is The Wayward Sons, the Supernatural TV show watchcast that Moon and Imp are going through. Season 2 is clipping along nicely now. So if you want to get in, and all of the previous episodes are there, so we're not like, oh, gotta get in now before they get deleted. None of that stuff. So want to check all that stuff out, head over to patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones and numbers.
All right, Moon. What have you been playing this past week?
So you don't mind if I do a quick shout out right at the start of the show, right?
Please do.
For those of you who listen to this show, I might not be aware of it. Friends of the site, friends of the show, the Bamfcast is winding down. They have 2.5 episodes left.
Right.
The 0.5 part of that is the listener mail episode. So if you have listened to the Bamfcast before, maybe you slipped, you've done a couple of episodes, you've liked what they've done for No Quarters, whatever the case may be, make sure you send the best, because they got two and a bit to go. So reach out, send your regards. Doesn't matter what it is, good, bad, ugly, preferably good.
Right.
Rate them 5 stars or better in your email of choice over to them. And they have a phone line too, so if you want to leave messages, you can do it that way. But definitely, if you've ever listened to them and you've liked their content, keep that in mind as they close up shop within the next short
right.
period of time.
Oh, the window to call the Garfield phone is closing.
True. Go show your respects while you can, kind of thing.
Yep.
But I figured I'd hit that at the top of the show.
Yeah. Yeah, please go support them. They've been friends of the show for a very, very long time.
It's a lot of hard work they did, just like we do. And you just definitely show your support and respect for the time and effort to put in to get to where they got to, kind of thing. But anyway, yes. What have I been playing, Boston?
Yes.
Have you been playing the game again this week? The same game you've been playing the past 2 weeks? Is that a good transition game for me?
Yeah. The one I forgot to write down? Yeah, yes. I played that a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, I'll use that as the transition game now.
Okay.
Because if it was the other guy, I wouldn't even have to ask.
Yeah, that's true.
I'd just assume.
That's right.
But it does. So, so I came up with a stupid idea a while ago.
Okay.
To go through all of the Nintendo classics on the service and see how they hold up, kind of thing.
Oh, like the Super NES and NES, like
yeah,
on the Switch?
Yes.
Gotcha.
So I haven't committed to that yet.
Okay.
However, I'm doing a soft launch of the concept.
That's right. That's right.
By soft launch, I mean Sega Mega Drive Classics was $4 on sale this week, so I bought it, and I've been playing some Sega Mega Drive games. Okay, I need to know. I don't know names. I'm sure I'll bug him about this when he's actually here.
Sure.
Give me your generations growing up. Like, give me your platforms of choice as you were coming up.
So, like, what I owned at the time. So my first console was a Atari 5200, if I remember correctly. I don't think we had a 2600. Had a 5200 for sure.
It's always funny for me at this kind of thing because I had an Amstrad, which was very much a British complete spin-off of...
you had like the Amstrad, the ZX Spectrum, like there were a bunch of kind of that. Definitely
mine was a cassette loading game.
Yeah, that was the
cassettes in it.
That was the good times. I had an NES, a Super NES, and a Genesis, and then pretty much after that point, I had kind of all of them. That was the point where I was like old enough to have like chore and work money, and I feel like at that point you figure out, all right, am I gonna stick with video games for the long term, or am I gonna kind of maybe grow out of them for a while? And that was definitely me. Like, no, this is my thing. I think
that's
I'm
college.
good here.
1,000% that's college.
Oh my god! And like the PS2 coming out during my college days was like so formative. Like the PS2 and the Dreamcast were so, especially the PS2 with the DVD player in it. Like that was just in every dorm room for everybody. Oh, so good.
So, I was an Amstrad boy.
Okay.
Which meant my first racing game experience was Super Monaco GP. My first puzzle game was Q*bert.
I played so much Q*bert as a kid.
Yeah, same. Way too much Q*bert. Yep. But the problem we had with our Super Monaco GP cassettes was part of the head was scratched. So if you ever... And the game was difficult. So if you ever made it to Suzuka, which was later in the season, it would load up the track, and then the second the green light would hit, it would just hard crash the game every single time. Which was fantastic when you play a really difficult game that far and then literally get the real Super Monaco GP begins now kind of crap. So I did that. Then I did the Master System. I didn't do the NES. I did the Master System.
Okay. I don't think I ever had a Master System.
The reason I'm bringing this up is because it's very important for literally the first game I'm going to talk about in this.
Oh, okay.
In this collection. So I did the Master System. I think it was a Gen 2 Master System because it had the built-in game, which we'll get to.
Mm.
Um, but after that, I think I played a little bit of the Nintendo stuff, but didn't have one.
Hmm.
Then I ended up having a NES and getting rid of the Master System. Then when the Mega Drive came out, we had that for a while, but then we got rid of that and got a SNES instead.
Right.
Like I bounced between them all, but there are certain like blind spots in every single like generation. Like the Dreamcast is my big blind spot. Like
Mm.
I've only ever
Understandable.
played yeah, I've only ever played things from there that were released to other things. So
Right.
the Crazy Taxi, I've played that because it was released elsewhere, you know, that kind
Hmm.
of stuff. Jet Set Radio, I only played that because I played Future, not the first one.
And like the PS2, it's so hard to, like it you can't
It's so
you can't state it enough that
huge.
like the PS2 was so massively huge. Like you think
Uh-huh.
the 360 was huge, and it still has nothing on the PS2. Like just monumentally huge. So it's like, oh, the other platforms, I'm good. No, thank you. I got a PS2.
Yeah.
Like what else do I need?
And it was so important that like literally it was the thing that you destroyed it by using it too much
Mm-hmm.
because
Yep.
people didn't realize how much wear and tear you'd have to put them through.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I did the flip trick.
Oh,
Yes, I did
100%.
all of that jazz.
Yep.
So the reason I bring this up is because I was like, well, if I'm going to do the Nintendo thing, I want to do a test and see if it's something I can do and just like plug away a few things. And then I saw this was on sale for like $4, and I was like, cool, I'm just gonna give it a try on this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going through them in alphabetical order because it doesn't.
Okay.
I can't be bothered doing it in release order. I'm just gonna go through in alphabetical order. And oh boy, did this game almost immediately tick me off to the point where I wanted to throw it out the window.
Okay.
Every time I've ever heard an American talk about Alex Kidd,
Oh
it has
boy.
been derivative and painful to listen to.
Okay.
And something tells me that the reason why that is because most Americans have experience with this hot garbage, which is Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle.
Oh, certainly not one of the outstanding entries.
No, it is horrifically bad. I grew up the reason I brought up the Master System thing is because my packed-in Master System game was Alex Kidd in Miracle World,
A much better game.
an incredible platformer that you
Mm-hmm.
could punch. Screw you, Mario. Alex
That's
could
right.
punch. That's the important thing. And yes, it still had all of the incredible tropes of Alex Kidd. It had the rock paper scissors thing with the boss fights were rock paper scissors.
Yeah.
But like the perspective of the game was in the right location. The game looked great. It had incredible music. Like the sound on that first game was superb. And so I loaded up this Mega Drive Classics, and I look. It's like, oh, Alex Kidd is the first game in alphabetical order. This is great. I'm just
Yeah.
going to load it and not even pay attention to the title. What happened to Alex Kidd Boston?
What happened here? Yeah.
It's so zoomed in
Mm-hmm.
that you can't see anything. It's still one hit to die.
Yep.
All of the storekeepers now do play rock, paper, scissors with you, or Rochambeau, or whatever the hell it's called. I can't even
Mhm.
remember what they say anymore. It still has the sick music, I will say. It's still
The music is still good,
do 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 do. It's stuck in my head immediately because it's the same music from Miracle World, which is a spectacular Alex Kidd game.
Mm-hmm.
Dark Soulsian before its time in its difficulty, but spectacular nonetheless. I'm pretty sure there's a level at the end of that game where if you don't have the right items, you walk into a screen and you die because you don't have the right items.
Yep.
It's painfully difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But I was a kid and it was the only thing I had to play, so it'll do.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you go from that to this.
Yeah. It's a huge swing.
It's the next generation and it's horrifically bad, dude.
Yeah.
Like I cannot put into words how disappointed I was when I loaded this up and I saw this Princess Leia wannabe Alex kid who's got his like buns on and everything, and
Yeah.
it's just like, what is going on?
Yeah.
I'd never played this game. This was not one that I had any affiliation with or knowledge of, and it is awful.
Yeah.
It is like, it doesn't control great. The responses are not great. Like the jumping is terrible. It's just like, oh, this is how I'm going to have to do every single game in this list, right? I'm going to go through all of these Mega Drive games and realize exactly how terrible every single game we used to play as children were.
Yeah. Wait until you get to Kid Chameleon, which is like my personal hated game.
So I got some hot takes. And
Okay.
this is it.
Oh, I love
Get ready for the next few weeks of Hot Take Moon. Yeah,
Yep.
because things are going to get spicy for a while. We'll say that at least.
Sounds like our next game for We Roguelike It is going to be Toe Jam and Earl, and I'm pumped.
Well, it's literally in this collection. That's why I said I'm going to be playing it.
And I know that because everyone's always like, how do I play Toe Jam and Earl? It's like, buy the Genesis Mega Drive collection for literally $4 when it's on sale like every other week. And it comes with that and about 40 other games.
Yes.
Yeah.
I get the distinct impression that the collection of games in this list are American themed. Because there's a lot in here. I have no idea what they are.
Yeah, it's interesting because the collection, if you're playing the Genesis collection or the Mega Drive collection, it's the same list of games, which is an interesting choice. Yeah.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, by the way, Mega Drive is what we called it in England.
Yeah.
That's what the name of it was over in England. Was it the Master System as well over here?
I believe so. I've been trying to sit here and remember.
Because that's an interesting name for a console. We'll put it that way, at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, we called it it was called the Mega Drive in England, which is why it'll say sometimes you'll get a branded Mega Drive, sometimes you'll get a branded Genesis. But the fact that, like, I mean, obviously I was a kid, so I didn't have access to every game. Game Pass didn't exist yet, so there's a lot of games on this list that I have no experience with or only know vaguely. Alex Kidd in in the Enchanted Castle in Miracle World is great. Go play that game.
Yeah.
Find a way to play it because let me just move the microphone really close for a moment. This is my flipping the chair around, sitting on it kind of moment right here. Right. This game is so bad. I Googled how to play Master System games and like releases of a Master System collection because I wanted the real Alex Kidd. It's impossible. Great.
Good job, Sega.
There is no Master System collection. There is none of that kind of stuff. It's literally just Mega Drive stuff. Like that, there was no readily available Alex Kidd for me to play the real version of the game. You know, the good one, not this thing. Whatever it is.
Hold on. So, okay. There is a way to play it, and you mentioning the Master System and there being no way to play it just brought forth
I'm not
something.
buying the Master System Classic. Go away.
No, God, no. It's even worse. I remembered something in the like endless bog of my brain. There is a way to play Master System games that just got released. Like a Dragon Gaiden has 15 Master System games in it, very well emulated. Alex Kidd in Miracle World is in there.
What was this? Like a Dragon Gaiden, you said?
Yes, Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name. You just got to play like 20 hours. They're well emulated. It is a good game.
You know what my secret problem is? I can't do that until I beat all of the other Yakuza games.
There you go. Join me for our brand new show, Yakuza Sailing, Yakuza, a trip down Yakuza Lane.
Oh, that's a really good title, dude. You should cut that out of the show.
Thanks. TM, I'm gonna write that in an envelope and mail it to myself.
Mail it
that
to
works,
yourself.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's 100% how you do it these days.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess I'm playing Yakuza games all from the start again soon.
There we go.
I was so dude, I cannot express. It's that nostalgia effect. You play
Yeah.
a nostalgia game. Resident Evil 2 is and Dead Space is the complete opposite of this, where you're just like, cool, this is exactly how I remember it. It's
Right.
not how it is, it's how you remember it. I played this and it felt like someone had taken a dookie on my memories. And not in a Green Day album dookie, which is probably dookie these days, but
Right.
taking an actual number 2 on my memories.
But it's
And
like,
it's not.
it's so frustrating because so many other industries don't have to deal with this stuff of like, I want to go watch this thing. I want to go listen to this thing. And like 99% of the time, I'm sure someone will be like, but you can't watch. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, video game companies, especially publishers, just don't have the same love or respect for their back catalog in a lot of cases. Where like, you should be able to download another collection like this of just like, yeah, here's a bunch of Master System games. There you go. Like, it's $4 and they're emulated all right. And it's just all it needs to be is just a list of video games I can pick from. Like, it doesn't need to be anything crazy.
No, and the presentation on this game is actually pretty solid. Like, you've got the CRT TV right there in the middle.
Yeah.
You've got the Mega Drive sitting under it, and the shelf of what appears to be 50 something games on the right hand side.
Yeah.
What's really annoying is I think it is 50 games, and I think the fact that they have to put it across 3 shelves rather than just doing 2 shelves with 25 apiece, they have to do 3 shelves with a big old space.
Yep.
Like, go away. Why? Why would you do that to me? Yep. Anyway, Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle is a hot garbage game, and you should not besmirch your time by even thinking of playing that game.
It still sucks.
Alien Soldier, on the other hand, because I'm going to do like 4 or 5 here. Alien Soldier is also a hot garbage game.
Oh no.
It's the same problems as Alex Kidd too. It's like super close, zoomed in. Like, I love Streets of Rage. Streets of Rage is one of my favorite game franchises of all time. And I will throw Golden Axe in with that too, because they are both of a similar vein and they both have the temerity to do their job right. Whereas this game, like, it's super fast paced, it's super actiony, and it's interesting, but the controls are clunky as you would not believe. And it's just super close and super zoomed in again. And it's just like, I don't know what I'm doing, because like these controls do not work nicely at all with modern day like feeling.
Right.
I mean, maybe it was incredible for its time, but for me these days, it's just like, no, it's not great. It's way too close. Next game, Boston. Alien Storm. Have you heard of this game?
I mean, I've probably played it at some point because I played a lot of this collection, but
collections.
I don't think I owned this as a kid, though.
It's sci-fi Streets of Rage, and it's weird because it's like half Streets of Rage, half Golden Axe. Like, it has like the animation and feel of Golden Axe, more than Streets of Rage, one might arguably say. But it doesn't feel good to play. There's just a lot of stuff going on in it that I don't like. And it's basically just sci-fi Golden Axe. It's whatever.
Yeah.
I got 3 games left to talk about, I think.
Okay.
No, 5 games to talk about. Oh boy, we're covering a lot this time, apparently.
Yep.
Ready for the hottest of hot takes?
Ooh, I love it.
Altered Beast is garbage, dude.
I never really loved Altered Beast as a kid.
It's
like,
so bad.
Everybody really loved it, and I think it's fine, but I don't think it has aged very well.
It has one moment, and that moment is Rise from Your Grave, and that is it. Everything after that. Yeah, exactly. So you even can't help it. You did it automatically.
That's right. Wise from
Everything
Your Grave.
after that is terrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible. Like, the combat is not great. The boss fight was fine, but like, it's so rough, dude.
And
like,
it's you know, we talked about it a little bit on the Outcast of like, you know, when does a game still feel a lot like an arcade game? And this game feels a lot like an arcade game, but kind of not in the positive way, where it's like, boy, you
Same
just
with
want,
Ghosts and Goblins does too.
yes, like you just want me to pump quarters in this thing, and that's not an option.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's rough, dude.
yeah.
Like what?
I'm there with you. Has not aged super well.
Yes, I was not a fan of that game. We'll say. What's Beyond Oasis?
So
Because
Beyond
I've
Oasis,
never heard of this game before.
it's interesting because I feel like a lot of people remember this fondly, and I don't remember this coming out in the States at all. It's like a top-down kind of hack and slash RPG sort of thing. It looks cool.
It looks incredible, and like they've got a surprising amount of like dexterity and combo from essentially one button combat. I mean, you have a jump and an attack, but they have like the hold the button and flip the stick special moves. They have the jumping attacks. They have different attack animations, very much like Golden Axe, depending on the range of you to the enemy. Like he'll do different animations, and it's like what is going on? Like
It's a cool game.
why is this thing really impressive?
Yeah. Yeah,
Like
I liked a lot of it when I played it in this collection. I don't remember it at all when it came out, but I was like, I came away with the same impression you did, where it's like, wow, this is all right. This is a pretty cool thing you have here. Like I didn't remember this at all.
I don't understand how it is as good as it is. Like it looks incredible. It plays pretty solidly. I mean,
Yep.
it has the same problems everything like this does, which is it's supposed to be a D-pad game, and you don't like. I'm using a stick now, so I'm expecting more fidelity than I'm getting from it.
Sure.
But it's you know what it really reminds me of? It really actually reminds me of the Aladdin game for the SNES and the Mega Drive. Like the smooth animations, the style, the look, everything about it is just really nicely put together. I was surprised about how enjoyable this game was, and how it has a save system. I'm surprised at how, like, I don't even want to know how many hours you could technically put into this thing, but I'm sure it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's shockingly good.
Yep.
I'm surprised about that game in particular. Biohazard Battle. Unfortunately, it's not a kaiju game.
And it's not a Resident Evil game or
No.
game either. Yeah.
No. It's freaky R-Type.
All right. Not like Parodius, which is I'm making fun of R-Type.
No. Like you get dropped off a ship and you're like literally a space alien flying through space and shooting things. It's freaky R-Type.
You're a space thing shooting space things.
Yeah. I don't understand why they couldn't have just made it a ship, but I guess you've got to, differentiate yourself somehow from the nightmare.
Differentiate yourself in the marketplace.
And do it the right way.
That's right.
By being weird space bugs.
Yeah.
Which, sure, I guess. I don't. It's fine. One of the games I did play way too much of as a child. Bonanza Brothers.
Oh yeah.
Which I have fond memories of this game. It turns out this game is also hot garbage. It's a two-plane Metal Gear Solid before Metal Gear Solid. It's not great.
Yeah, I mean it's cool to see the two-player kind of split screen thing, which you didn't really get a lot of at that time.
Sure.
Usually it was like both players are on the same screen together.
Yeah, but the problem is when you're playing it single player, half of the screen is not being used.
Yep. It's real good.
Like, the funny thing is I distinctly remember playing way, way too much of this game. like with my siblings.
Right.
Like I played way too much of it, and I distinctly remember having a lot of fun with it. But I don't know if that was the fun we made or the game being fun.
Sure, right.
Turns out the game is not fun.
Ah, well.
The game is actually very difficult to play.
Even better.
I beat the first level with 10 seconds left to go, so I mean I don't know if that helps, but it was definitely one of those things where it's like I remember this name. I hope this is great. No, it's not. It's not great at all. It's in fact pretty terrible.
Ew, boy.
And the final game I played from this collection, it's Columns,
Columns.
which shockingly still holds up.
Yeah, I believe that.
Also, it has that music in it again.
Oh,
One of those games that has the music that is embedded into your very soul because that's just the music that you had when you were a kid.
Yep.
Oh my. It's not my preferred match 3 game. I'll say that. Like, I do think if I'm. Okay. What is your preferred puzzle game of this style? Are you a Columns? Are you a Tetris? Are you a Bubble Bobble? Like, what are we thinking?
I mean, I probably gravitate more towards Tetris. I do like Puyo Puyo a lot, but I feel like I haven't played enough of them to really say like, oh, I'm a super fan. I played a bunch of
any of them.
If you play Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, it's the same thing. They just rebranded it.
I have not, but I will be.
Yeah, at some point you will be. Yeah. I feel like I'm kind of the classic Tetris sort of guy.
Yeah.
Like you can't go wrong.
I think that is my preferred puzzle nomenclature. Is I'm a Tetris boy, because it's the diagonals that mess me up every single time. Diagonals and cascades, like they always mess me up every single time. I'm a very simplistic guy. You give me a hole, I put a long piece in it, and then 4 lines disappear.
Yep.
Don't take me out of context.
Nope, not writing it down.
And on this kind of game, it's always the diagonals that throw me.
Yeah,
it's like I'll try and I'll use all of my brain power to match one diagonal, and in the process completely screw up the entire rest of the board because I've been focused on this one diagonal match. And then, if I'm lucky, the rest of it will all just fall down, and it will cascade somehow. But I can't plan it out that way. I just don't have the brain that lets me plan those things out in a way that is effective or rewarding in a points manner. So
that was the only way I succeeded in Puzzle Quest. Was just like, oh, okay, half the board cleared. Yep, that was on me. Yep, I did a great job.
100% totally intentional. I swear.
Yep, I'm the best.
I'm terrible at that kind of thing. I just can't do it. But shockingly enough, Columns still holds up a lot. That's all I play from the Mega Drive collection, Boston. So you can not worry about that thing.
Oof.
I do need to talk about Lethal Company, though.
Okay.
Which we did play. And I did put the mod in for the new items and everything. Lethal, I don't know. I'll figure it out and try and remember to shout it out next week. But we had a 5-person lobby for a while, so...
Nice.
And it ran really smooth, like really, really smooth. So
That's
I was like, great. I know this mod works now, and I know everything ran pretty smooth. I love you, Justin, but having to help you set her up again was hilarious while everybody else was waiting on me. One of the things I have to mention, I will be shone from my own Lethal Company if I do not mention it on the show. Part of the pack that I got is a whole bunch of new items. Like there's a new monster. There's new level hazards. The level hazard is a teleporter, by the way, Boston.
Oh, okay.
It's a mine that when you step on it, it teleports you. It does not blow up. It just teleports you.
Okay, that's
which I
really
think
good.
is actually worse.
That's really good.
That's like How mean can you be? Oh, I don't know. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just going to teleport you somewhere random in this place.
That's right.
Which is sure. I don't really want to say because I know people are listening, but I
Mm-hmm.
saw the new monster.
Okay.
It's called the Boomba.
Okay.
It does exactly what you think a monster with that name would do.
Okay.
It's scary. It's slow and scary. It's ridiculous how slow it is, but it's
Mm-hmm.
still horrifying because it has the same sound effects as the mine, except it
Oh.
follows you.
Ooh, boy.
Uh-huh. Which is just great.
Yikes.
Um, the loot is fun. It's a bunch of plushies have been added in as loot, which I really quite like.
That's fun.
Like a really bunch of cute plushies. And there is a cat.
Yes. Game of the year.
But it is a cat that plays music very, very loud.
Of course it is.
So you can hear the music from quite far away, if I'm completely honest.
Oh boy, okay.
Apparently, you could turn it off, which we didn't know until the second time we,
Mm.
keyword here, attempted to grab the cat. It
There's an
seems like
operative
this
word
cat,
there.
yes, it seems like this cat is very rare because we ran into it like 3 times across the course of the night.
Mm-hmm.
And every single time that run went south real quick, real fast.
Okay.
The first time, I think. So we started off the nightly experience really, really well because the very first run, on the very first day, or very first like quota day,
Mm-hmm.
quota's like $103, and we dropped like $900 on that like store, and
I'm
we were
buying
like,
one of everything from the store.
"Pay me, punk! I
That's
need
right.
pro flashlights. Thank you
Yep.
very much, because the green ones are garbage."
Mm-hmm.
And then the second quota day, we had a really good day 1 and then died day 2. So then we
Oh
had a
no.
day 3 where we had to get as much as we can.
Right.
And the loop kept happening. We'd have a really good run, really cursed run, really good run, really
Mm.
cursed run.
Okay.
Um, we made it to Rend once. That's how cursed this run was. We got to Rend
Mm.
once. That's terrible. I like Rend. Rend is the big money planet for me. As long as you can survive.
That's right.
But part of this whole thing was like we find the cat and like I don't know what it was, but it's just this thing that clicked with Rob. Rob fell immediately in love with this cat. I never found it. I never picked her up. I never did anything with it, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I did hear its music, and it's purring, and it's constant meowing,
Oh boy.
and everything else that happened in between.
So it's a question of like if whoever made this mod either really loves cats or really hates cats. There's kind of no in between on that.
Yes, and if they really love cats, then they acknowledge the flaws that cats have.
That's
Like
right.
it's that simple. But like the first time we had it, then we got ambushed on the way out the door, and we all got like worked over really, really badly. So we all died.
Mm-hmm.
Or I think me and Rob were heading to the exit, and he died, and I made it, but I didn't go back for the cat because I think that one was a coil head and a thumper.
Oh,
Never a good
what a good
mix.
combo.
Uh-huh. The second time we had it, I was already dead, and I happened to be watching Rob's screen, and Rob found it, and he was celebratory, and then him and Nymph got lost in the middle of nowhere, and they
Mm.
were trying to find their way back. And then I think Nymph died somehow, and then Rob jumped off an edge with the cat,
There you go.
which is just... It makes sense why he refuses the jumps, because of course he does. He can't make them.
They're
He's
pretty
just not that
spicy.
good of a jumper. They are.
Yeah.
I just like making fun of him because they all make fun of me being the quote unquote pro jumper. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
I believe you call that a sweatshirt over here, but okay, we'll get to that eventually. But like every time we heard that music, every time we found the cat, the run went south somehow.
Right.
Ash found it at one point or heard it at one point and then promptly fell down a hole trying to go find it. It's like every single time.
You hear the
So
siren
now,
song and it just smack right into those rocks.
yeah, so I think like the project now is find the cat,
Right.
get the cat back to the ship, and then promptly get very annoyed with how obnoxious it is.
Yeah.
Because at no point did we find Squeaky. Squeaky was not in the store the entire time we played.
That
And
was
it's like,
why your runs were cursed.
yeah, exactly. We didn't have Squeaky. We didn't have Pumpkinhead. We didn't have anything. We just had a teleporter and some bad luck.
Mhm.
It's a dystopian novel for the ages. Well, I love Lethal Company.
Yeah.
I'm at that. I did. We were running 27 mods
Okay.
this time, compared to the 7 from previous weeks.
Mhm.
And it ran fine.
Nice.
Like it ran absolutely fine. Now it probably helps that I'm deliberately choosing from the highly rated mods and the recommended. The scary part is what comes next, which is the levels, finding stable builds of levels and things like that. That's the next part. That's going to be the fun part. I do think Nimp had fun playing with us, which is always good because
Nice.
I think now if we run at max capacity based on the group alone at 7 people, which it's just going to be chaos. And I think if you throw some extra chaos into this game, I think it's just going to get better and better from there.
Yeah.
Especially you start throwing in a bunch of other stuff like new levels, new maps, things like that. Or, fake doors, whatever the case may be.
Right.
I don't know. I like Lethal Company, and I like the fact that I'm embracing this modded side of it because it's simple and I don't have to worry too much about it. Where I can just be like, okay, cool. Now we're just going to get all of this additional stuff in and see how that goes. I like it. It's fun. Lethal Company is great. Final game I've been playing is only played it a little bit. It's Helldivers.
Yeah, I only played a little bit of it this week because we kind of had a late start on our normal Thursday night expeditions.
Helldivers is really cool too. Like,
yeah, I will admit something. Might not be a popular take. I think the beginning of Helldivers can
so
be
hard,
pretty frustrating because
you are under-equipped.
Yeah, but like my problem with Helldivers 2 isn't really that. It's just there's not always a very clear line of progression from like, okay, I'm here at like trivial or easy difficulty. I'm doing okay. We've got 2 or 3 or 4 people and we're doing fine. How do I get to the next step? How do I get to higher difficulties? How do I get to this? Like, do I need to unlock things here? Do I need to purchase things here? Like what's the next step to doing more things, more difficult missions, getting more stuff? And I think one of the big negatives and frustrations for me at the beginning of this game is it's sort of like, yeah, like go play missions. It's like, yeah, but how do I'm okay with treating it like an arcade game, that's fine, but how do I keep making
it needs to get
progress?
A bit clearer about the yellow currency, whatever it's called, and the samples. Because it does not, I don't think the game does a good enough job of emphasizing how important samples are. Because they're the things that buff your beep boops, whatever they're called.
Your stratagems.
Thank you. They're the things that buff those. So that makes a huge difference. Like, while I was playing it with Rob this week and while we were talking about it, we were saying, like, maybe it doesn't matter, like, the level of gun you have. Maybe it doesn't matter the level of sidearm you have. Maybe what matters the most is just having a whole bunch of equipment. Because, like, when we throw out 2 turrets and 2, like, orbital strikes at the same time as having, like, not great, but decent guns. Like, I'm just using I stopped using the LMG and I'm just using the anti-material rifle now because I like the nature of the way that thing fires. And like just having that all of the additional firepower around us has made a huge difference to our survivability.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like this week, part of that frustration for me has eased a little bit because I bought in like the War Bonds Battle Pass, whatever it's called. There are the upgrades that look like canisters that kind of apply to your character, and they're not like armor skins or capes or new types of
Yeah,
weapons.
the boosters, but they're called boosters,
Boosters,
which
yeah,
I think is a bad name because
it
boosters
is.
imply a single-use item. It's
You
not
get
a single-use
you
item.
get because you drank Dr. Pepper, you get 2 hours of double XP in Call of Duty. Like
Yeah,
to me, that's a booster. And what this game means is that hey,
it's basically genetic therapy.
yeah, like now your vitality is higher, so you can take way more damage in a mission. And I'm not just like getting hit twice by a little bug and dying. Now I'm sort of shaking off that damage a little bit, and now I feel a little bit stronger. And I wish the game was. I'm not focused so much on um, that part of the menu, because for a while I was focused on getting samples, like really scouring the map for samples, feeding that into your ship, and getting more stratagems, because you don't really start with that many at the beginning. But
Yeah,
I should be kind of doing both at the same time, because you're getting overall character buffs and bonuses in the war
and
bonds thing, which I didn't realize.
the armor can make a huge difference too. Like I
Mm-hmm.
originally had the engineer armor, which give me extra grenades,
Mm.
and now I'm using the medic armor, which gives you 2 maximum additional stims and lets
Oh,
you
that's
carry
nice.
2 more from the get go.
Oh, that is nice. Yeah, I
And
just
they can make huge differences, and I think also like jumping in, even if we're not like pulling an imp and playing this for like 70 hours, a week,
mm-hmm.
even jumping in, doing a little bit of like the weekly mission, and then you come back in after you've done that, and it's like, here's 50 war bonds. It's like, great,
Mm-hmm.
and let me just spend all of these in about 4 seconds flat.
Yeah, I do really like this game. I'm only playing it on Thursdays when the crew gets together, because I have like plenty of other things I'm playing in the middle right now.
Oh, you mean the year of RPGs waits for
Oh,
no man?
my God, I'm drowning under them. Um, but like I am still enjoying this game a lot. I just wish in the early days, because I'm not part of the Discord or the subreddit, I'm not following Twitter
Hmm.
accounts for it or anything, so I'm not getting this kind of institutional osmosis knowledge. So
Yeah,
like,
same.
and the game does an okay job tutorializing, but once you kind of get into your ship, it just sort of lets you loose, which is fun in and of itself. Like we play roguelikes, and that's like half of
Yeah,
the
that's
fun
kind
of
of
that
what we do.
genre. Is just like, what's this thing? I'll pick it up. Oh God, now that I ruined this run. But for something like this, I wish there was just a little bit more guidance of, here's how you progress from A to B to C, and as you level up, you do all of these things. But
Is it almond milk? Almond milk.
almond milk, yes, from Isaac.
Ugh.
Yeah, yeah.
Hate that thing,
Everybody hates almond milk.
especially Californians.
Heyo,
Heyo.
got him. But yeah, I'm Helldivers 2 is great. And part of the reason why I'm playing only on Thursday nights is I don't want to play this game solo. I know you can, and I don't want to play this game with randoms, because I don't want to do that right now.
Yeah, I'm not. I refuse to. Like, I have my lobby set to friends only. So,
Yep.
like, when I jump on, if I remember, I'll throw a message out in the LFG channel.
Mhm.
I know I had a chit chat with Rob while we were playing last time, like just me and him having a talk. So, like, we played this game while we were having a talk. Like,
Mhm.
jumped in, just chilled out, had a talk, killed some bugs,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Like, I will not play this with randoms at
No.
all. Period.
And also, like, you can't pause the game, so for me
Uh-huh.
that decreases my potential playtime a lot. So
Yeah.
yeah, which is fine. Like I like having these games that the Thursday night crew plays, and we kind of just play it that week or whatever. Like I kind of like having it. And there'll be weeks, like with anything else, where I can play it outside of Thursday, or I can play it a lot more. But it hasn't been that case lately, and that's fine.
Yeah. No, I've been having a lot of fun with it, and I realized that how much better my aim with stratagems are, like once I play it with a controller rather than a mouse.
Sure.
Like while we were playing this week, both of us absolutely nailed like our stratagem deployment. Like we had two giant bugs spawn in front of us, and we both tossed an orbital strike at two different bugs.
Oh, nice.
And both did the sticky thing where it landed on their backs, and the strike beam followed them.
That's great.
Where they went. So it's just like, well, I guess this is going to be a cool guys don't look at explosions moment as we run away from them as quickly as we possibly can.
Right. Yeah.
Wow, it's fun. It's dumb. It's stupid. And I swear I don't want the Starship Troopers discussion about this game where it's like, well, look, this is the correct way to do things. Like, no, I don't even want to hear anyone with that argument. But it's been good to play. It's been good to like just zone out, and like sometimes we push our limits, sometimes we don't. Sometimes it's simple. Sometimes it's like, oh, let's just get every single like supply that we can on here.
Yep.
And then we get promptly punished for that decision, and then we change our mind next time and don't do it.
Yeah, it's great. It's as great as everybody has been saying it is.
Yeah. Hey, I just realized it's the only 2024 game I've been playing this year.
Hey, there you go. We found one.
Yep. Yeah. Speaking of which, that's all I've been playing. Boston, tell me about your RPG.
Oh, yeah. Let's start off with not 2024's RPG. Slice and Dice 3.0 came out.
Yeah. Oh, is it on? Is it on iOS? Did you get it on iOS?
It is.
Oh no, Boston!
I have purchased it. It is $8, I think, on iOS. On mobile devices, there's now a portrait mode as well. It's really cool because the bottom of the screen has your party and the enemies right next to each other, pretty much. And the top half of the screen has a wooden dice box where you're rolling your dice.
Oh, that's
really good.
That's a nice little touch.
2 thumbs up. Everything in this game is different. We played this, was it two seasons ago on We Roguelike?
Did it happen again? We were talking on the pre-show about Mummy Demastered.
Well, so I'm not sure at this point if Slice and Dice 3.0 is better or worse than 2.0. So Mummy Demastered, when we played that, we were like, it's fine, it's got a bunch of problems. They patched it the next day to like alleviate literally every one of the problems we had while we were playing that on the show. I don't know yet, because I feel like I am barely scratching the surface of the differences in this game. Like, so much of it is so different. I think early on, it seems like it's largely a positive. Some stuff where things sort of got nerfed, where maybe characters or attacks or sides of die were maybe too strong in the game originally. A lot of that stuff has been pulled back, where it's like the Trickster, I think it is, the one where the whole dice is, when it lands on the side, it attacks the enemy. One of the sides hurts you as the character, even if it lands on that side. So that to me is kind of emblematic of the changes in this game, where it's like, that was probably too strong. We're going to pull it back just a little bit, and there's going to be maybe a little bit of a negative, but it's still going to be incredibly strong, but maybe not as strong. There are new modes, there are new characters, there's new, etc., etc., etc. The tutorial is still great. You don't have all the classes at the beginning of the game anymore. You have to beat whatever the first boss is in the game in like level fight like 3 or 4, like very, very, very early on, which seems fair. I don't think that's a negative. But it seems great. There's music now, which I don't remember anything about. Maybe I don't have it turned on. I don't know.
There wasn't any music as far as I can remember because this was a podcast game for me.
Right. I wonder if it comes disabled by default, because that would be pretty great if it does. But Slice and Dice is still great. This is still the rolling the dice roguelike, and it feels like there's just a lot more in it now, but not for me, not in an overwhelming way. And I think it feels like it still has that kind of gradual introduction to mechanics. You're still unlocking stuff as you go. You're still kind of unlocking things slowly as you get all the challenges and achievements done in the game. So it doesn't feel like, you run into those roguelikes every once in a while where it's like, hey man, you beat the first boss for the first time. Here's 400 new things. Like it's very much not that. But I don't want to say yet whether or not this is good or bad, because I'm not going to know that for a considerable amount of time. It's interesting because the developer,
for about 4 weeks or so.
Exactly. The developer mentioned on a video of ours for We Roguelike It that maybe we wouldn't have rated this game as highly as we did in the best list of the best roguelikes of all time if we had played 3.0 and sort of put like an LOL. He's clearly joking, but it's interesting to see, with us having played 2.0 so recently and 3.0 coming out and so much of it being so different. It's interesting to see the kind of the two versions of it right next to each other.
I mean, if it makes some of those final bosses manageable, that would be great, because oh boy, that dragon sure breathes fire a lot all the time.
Yeah,
at me.
That dragon is rough, man. So I haven't spent a ton of time in it yet, but the iOS version works really well. I think it was only like $8 to. It's like it's one of those free download, and then you unlock it when you're in the game, and it comes with everything.
I think the demo is like 12 stages. The main game is 20, and like the demo, I think gives you the easy, medium, and hard thing too.
Yeah, demo is really good in this game. So, go ahead and check this out. If you haven't played Slice and Dice yet, it's really good. It made it very high in our list of the best roguelikes of all time at weroguelikeit.com. You can check it out where it is, because I don't remember right now.
Yep. Oh, it looks like mine also updated itself. Great.
There you go. Yeah. Oh, and now it's on Steam as well, too. So iOS, Android, itch.io, and Steam. So.
Yeah, guys, if you listen to this and you have a panache for roguelikes or dice games, go play this game. Please.
It's really good.
It's cheap, and it will destroy your hours. Like, you have no idea.
Yeah. That's really
I don't like dice games, and I love this game. Come on.
Yeah. All right, next game here, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I am, I think, at the end of Chapter 9, which Chapter 9 has been very long. No idea. Don't want to look. It's one of those things where, like, I feel like every time I go look up how many chapters or parts of this game, they're always like, oh, don't forget, chapter 14 is the end of the game where X, Y, and Z happens. It's like, why? What is wrong? Why would you? I just need a number.
Because I don't care. Do you want to know how many chapters?
Let me guess. It's 14.
It's 14.
Yeah. That's a good guess. I didn't get as much time to play it this week as I wanted, and the part that I played this week is kind of the doldrums of the original game. So this isn't any spoilers here. This is all stuff that was in the original game. So it's the...
When does...
Yeah.
Okay. Possibly spoilers. Okay. I apologize in advance if I spoil something here, because I literally cannot remember enough about this game to know what exactly it involves. So I apologize if I do spoil anything from this game. Skip ahead like 10 minutes if you don't want to hear me potentially spoil it. Is the doldrums part the part where Cloud is in a wheelchair?
No. So the doldrums part for me is the post Gold Saucer stuff, where you're in the Corel Desert, the Corel Prison, which is like
Hmm.
the Corel Prison stuff is way longer in this, and I really don't like that stuff. Um, this existed in the original game, so no one get mad. The Barrett and Dine stuff, his friend from the Corel town, um,
Hmm.
and the Gungaga stuff, where with the jungle and everything with like the broken down reactor. Like that's all the stuff that I played this week. I really don't like the Corel stuff in the original. I really don't like it here again. I kind of don't care about any of that part, and the way they revisited it in this game is stronger, but I don't think it's better overall. I think they tried, and it's an important part of the game, and I think the character development that Barrett gets is stronger in this one. Like overall, his character development is way stronger in this, which I think I talked about it last week. I really, really like that because Barrett in the original is kind of a caricature, and
Hmm.
in the first game, it like never really gets off the soapbox. But he gets so much more to work with in this game. I think it helps a lot. But all of that stuff is just it's like it's fine. It's okay. Um, I like what they did to the jungles around Gongaga in this game. It's very twisty turny. It's very like you get lost a little bit. It looks like a very dense jungle, and I think that's a really cool choice for them to make. I think I'm at the end of that Gongaga stuff. I think I'm maybe a couple of minutes until this chapter is over, but I didn't have enough time to. I just sat through like a very long series of cutscenes. I was like, okay, is this going to do the JRPG thing where I'm going to go back out in the open world for a while, or am I going to get into another bunch of very long cutscenes? I wasn't sure. Um, but I'm still really enjoying it. I'm still trying to do a little bit of the open world stuff as I go through. I think a lot of that stuff is really strong. I'm in the middle of we talked about it, I think, last week, the Proto Relic series of quests that is in every area. There's a series of like 4 or 5 side quests that link to each other, and at the end you get an item. I'm in the middle of doing a fairly funny one that happens in the Corel region, which I was pretty surprised about. And I'm enjoying a lot of that. I've spent a bunch of time this week doing some of the mini games in the Gold Saucer, the Chocobo
Which
Racing
I'm
mini
sure is
game.
not big at all.
God, it's huge. they 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 do a really good job actually in this, where the first time you get to a new area, there's like this big Moogle signpost thing. It looks like the stuffed Moogle that Kate Sith is riding on.
Hmm.
You talk to it, and you can fast travel to any other place in the Gold Saucer, and it will drop you into the lobby of that area. So, like, you want to go to the Chocobo Racing area, you teleport right there. You're in the lobby where you can do races. You can uh, trade your GP that you get, the like gold saucer points and all of that stuff. You can do all that stuff in that area. You want to go do any of the other areas, you can just fast travel there, which I think is a really smart choice. Um, the I think it was in the original game, but the like polygon boxing thing
It
from
was.
that's back in this game with more mechanics in a way that I think is actually really cool. It's like simple enough, but just complex enough to be really interesting. The chocobo racing is wild because basically you can drift chocobos now. There are,
Well, Tokyo Drift, dude.
that's
It's
right.
right
I
in the
mean,
name.
yeah. There are 12 race courses, I think. Then they're all individual different race courses. A lot of them remind me a lot of stuff that you'd see in a Mario Kart game, where it's like, oh, this one's underwater, and this one has a sick jump halfway through it, and this one's like a bunch of drift corners and things like that. A lot of those mini games are really cool. I think the only one that I thought was maybe a little bit lame is there's like a behind the ship shmup sort of thing. It reminds me a lot of
Is this the submarine game?
No, I haven't seen that in this one. I'm not sure. There's still some stuff that's locked in Gold Saucer, so I'm not sure if it's there. But it's like the gummy ship stuff from Kingdom Hearts, and it's sort of like, this is fine, but it kind of like a little bit, maybe not the best out of all of them. The only thing that I'm missing, and it could be because I'm totally blind, maybe I'm not seeing it in the menu, is there's an interesting system in the game where you're deepening your relationships with the people that you're traveling with. And each one of them has a relationship status. And it's really just like how smiley is a smiley face, basically. Like, you start at the beginning of the game, it's gray and it's like a flat smile, and every time you fill up a pip on the bar for their relationship, you fill it up, I think, like 6 times, and your relationship deepens, and the smiley face gets a little happier. That seems to largely reward like you selecting, quote unquote, the right choices when you're talking to people. When you're like, every time you go to a city, everybody kind of scatters, you go talk to everybody, you kind of hang out, you share stories, you make fun of Barrett, the usual stuff.
Yeah.
And those bonds deepen the first time that you use synergy attacks in battle. So essentially there's like another bar you're filling up in battle, and you can do an attack where 2 party members can do a really big attack at the same time. It's not as strong as a limit break, but it's pretty close. But both party members have to have so many pips in their synergy bar.
Yeah.
The only thing that I wish I could find or was there in the game is I can't see what that status is in the menu. I seem to always hit a button accidentally when we're wandering around in a city, and it makes the little smiley face pop up over everybody's head, but I can't go see like, oh, I have 3 pips into this person's relationship thing and their smiley face is yellow, so I'm doing okay. None of that. So I think that's kind of a bummer. But otherwise, so far so good. I really want to talk about the story in this game, but I can't. Number 1, because I don't know what's going on, and number 2 is because it's a giant spoiler. I really want to get to the point. Hopefully Nimp will finish it around the time that I do, so we maybe do a spoiler cast, because I think that would be interesting based on how the first game did. But
yeah, and also, like, I mean, the funny thing is I have questions, but I know by asking those questions they will be huge spoilers. So it's like I can't ask them.
I mean,
like,
you can try asking really them, and I will not answer if it's a big spoiler. We'll drop another spoiler alert here and say, like, if you don't want to know anything, remember this podcast has chapter markers if your player supports it, so just scooch on to the next thing.
No, I'm just going to text you it instead.
Okay. I will wait for... the footage we're watching has Queen's Blood on here, that card game. I'm playing a lot of that. Because I got to the point where I got high enough ranked in Queen's Blood that it was like, oh, now you need to go challenge this person over here to then, once you beat them and X number of people, you can then move up to the next rank. And
so like Final Fantasy VIII, the best Final Fantasy game.
Exactly. To me, I think this rivals that pretty easily. Queen's Blood is really, really, and it feels like the same thing that I have with that was Triple Triad, right?
Yes, I believe so.
The same thing I had there, where it's like, all right, I'm at a brand new town. There's always a little banner that pops up. It's like, this town has new Queensblood challengers to battle. And it's like, that's the very first thing I'm doing. I'm going around to everybody. I'm collecting all the cards. I'm visiting the card shop to pick up some new card packs. Like, that's the first driving force for me when I get to a new town. All right, let's look at Moons. Okay.
I don't know if that's a spoiler or not, and I'm assuming it probably is.
So I will
Feel free
answer
to
this.
not answer it, because some people, you can just say yes, no.
I will answer this question. This is not a spoiler, but if you want to know as little as possible going into this game, Moon asked the question, have you seen a weapon yet? And the answer is yes. That reminds me of something else. This isn't really weapon related. I really like how much more this game has integrated Yuffie into the storyline from the moment she's introduced. Because if anyone doesn't remember, Yuffie and Vincent in the original game were optional. So
yeah,
like
they were also like hidden, and Yuffie was a nightmare to get. Vincent was hard, but Yuffie was harder.
You could still go through that stuff, and she'd be like, "Hey, can I come with you?" And you're like, "No." And they'd be like, "Okay, bye." But because she's in this game from the beginning, I really like how they've integrated her into the entire story, and they've given her. She's still materia hungry. Like that's still her thing, her driving force, but it makes so much more sense in this game because they're trying to break down, like, part of what Avalanche is interested in is like, is the propaganda about Wutai being the villains true or not, now that we have somebody from Wutai, and then why is she trying to gather up all this materia? So I keep forgetting to mention that, but I really like how they have addressed her character this time, and her voice actor is really good. It's kind of like manages to strike a balance between being very energetic but not being annoying about it. It's just like this ball of energy that I think she really was in the original.
So OG Tiny Tina.
Yeah, but without the like problematic nature of Tiny Tina. So yeah, I'm still really enjoying this a lot. This is the game that I'm trying to do as much as I can in the game as I go through, but I'm still trying to push as strongly as I can to get through the game before somebody is just on the internet being like, boy, wasn't the ending of this where so and so happened crazy? And I'm like, bro, for real? Like, come on. Mm-hmm. So just trying to continue to kind of march my way through. Anyways, enough about Rebirth. It's still really good. You're probably not too surprised about that. What's also really good, Stardew Valley. Version 1.6.
Oh, no, Buster, no.
Came out this week. I fired this up on the PC, started a brand new farm, because I wanted to check out the new farm. If you're watching the video version, they're playing the new farm here on the footage. New farm kind of turns things on its head. When you start, as far as I know, any of the other farms in Stardew Valley, you get the like package of parsnips, and you're off to the races and starting your farm. In this one, you start with a chicken coop, 2 chickens, and a kind of fenced-in area for the chickens to live in. You don't start off with any seeds or anything. So your main moneymaker at the beginning of the game is eggs and egg-related things. So I'd like the idea that it's not... It's different enough at the very beginning of the game, and it's not just, oh, well, I guess I'm going to plant my parsnips and do this, etc., etc. The farm is also really big, which is pretty interesting. The game says at the beginning, like, this might not be the best for crops, but it's big and has a lot of room for animals to grow. It also has a kind of a bluish grass that is growing all over it that the animals seem to really love. I'm not even at the end of spring year one in my game, so I'm not sure if all the rest of the other animals love it or not, but we'll find out. And there's so much in this patch that I haven't even scratched the surface of. It's a genuinely massive patch. I think one of the things that I wasn't expecting to enjoy as much as I did is they put waterfalls around the town. So a lot of it adds some sort of interesting verticality to the town a little bit. And if you are playing that new farm, you have a series of waterfalls kind of in the corner of your town, your farm as well, which I know sounds like kind of a dumb thing, but it's interesting to be walking around town and be like, oh, there's a waterfall here. And I guess that must have been a cliff. That's maybe why I couldn't go that way before. So I don't, it's just like Slice and Dice, where I don't have a ton to say about it right now because it's still early days with the new patch. They're putting out a bunch of fixes pretty quickly. I'm playing this with Moonlight and Sunshine on my PC, which the audio for some reason is not crazy about that setup. So hopefully this comes to consoles pretty soon, because that would be where I would like to play that version anyway. But yeah, it's more like if you haven't played Stardew Valley and any of it sounds interesting, you should really be playing Stardew Valley. It's just as good as it always has been, and now there's a ton more stuff in the game, and kind of everything has been changed around in I think pretty positive ways. So I wish I had more to talk about it, but
it's Stardew Valley. Go check out the Game Club episode where we ranked it forever, ages and ages and ages.
Well, and a lot of my kid doesn't like playing games. She likes drawing a lot more, which like drawing and reading, which I'm like definitely not gonna say no to. But as soon as I started playing Stardew Valley, she's like, I want to play that. We need to play that together. So a lot of it has been me teaching her how to play Stardew Valley and like getting used to the PlayStation controller, and like it's some Stardew Valley like jankiness of like, all right, you want to water the crops? I know everything else in the game is X to use it, but all of the tools are square. And she's like, why? I'm like, man, I don't know. Like, I wish I had an answer for you, but I genuinely do not know.
Yep.
So that's been pretty fun to see her kind of enjoy a game, because the last thing we played together was the Bluey video game, which was not great and not a great time. So Stardew Valley 1.6, real good. And real quick, last game I have here is Unicorn Overlord. I played a little bit more of this week. I didn't put a ton of time into this because I was playing Battletro. I'm sorry, but I have been enjoying the time that I've been putting into this game, and I got 2 new unit types this time. A giant warrior type that has like a giant stone hammer, which has been really good. It's been interesting to see the game rolling out more units that is explicitly telling you, hi, I've just joined your army. I'm good against these other type of units. Like, you're really annoyed at those guys with shields. I'm really good at fighting those guys with shields. It's like, oh, okay, cool. I also finally got wizards. I don't know if they call them wizards or mages in the game. You know how fantasy stuff is like, it's a
tomato.
It's a warlock.
Druids,
it's a wizard.
Wizards, mages.
Yeah,
all the same.
Yeah. So I've got those. They seem really good. So now I have kind of multiple ranged options now between my archers and my wizards. So I feel like as I'm doing more and more of the side quests and the main quests in the game, I'm getting more unit types, and it's slowly introducing more of these mechanics to me, which feels pretty good. And it feels like a good way of introducing all this stuff in the game. So unfortunately, nothing really major to talk about here. It's a lot of like I'm fighting more of these guys, and I'm going through a battle and fighting more of these guys. So it's just good, and I'm doing more of it. So Unicorn Overlord is great. Oh, I did run into the food though. I did unlock my first tavern. Of course, I ran. They have the incredible looking Vanillaware food, so it all looks so good, man. Yeah, but that's Unicorn Overlord. That's the games I'm playing this week. Let's take a break.
Yep.
Time is at 4. I don't know if I'm going to have time for questions this week. We'll just carry them over to the next week. Sorry, T-Bone Rocks.
And Toriko.
Yeah, he also put a good... Thankfully, we talked about some of that. Well, I'd rather talk about that when Nimp is back.
Nimp's, yes.
Yeah, because get his opinion, too. Okay. Are you ready for releases?
Sure.
Ha-cha-cha-cha-cha. Yeah, stop drinking that, man. All right. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of March 25th, 2024. Bulwark Falconeer Chronicles comes out PS5, Series consoles, and PC. This is a sea-based, large-scale city builder made by the seemingly single dev that made the other Falconeer games. But this is a really cool-looking city builder that where you're kind of building stuff on the surface of the ocean. Yeah, and kind of building up and out from there. I feel like we don't get a ton of city builders on console for probably fairly obvious reasons, but this looks like it works pretty well, and it looks like it has a cool art style, and I don't know. It feels like what's that game we played on Game Club? Islands, I think maybe it was.
Islanders.
Islanders. Thank you. It looks like kind of if someone took that game and kind of fleshed it out more and kind of made it into a bigger thing. So looks cool. That's Bulwark Falconeer Chronicles. Next game here is the Grandia HD collection, comes out on PS4 and Xbox One. This is Grandia 1 and 2. This came out on PC and Switch forever ago. Now they're just coming out on Xbox and PlayStation platforms. I'm a bit bummed out to see them using so much pixel smoothing on this stuff, but it's certainly not the worst thing that's happened. If you haven't played Grandia 1 and 2, Grandia 1 is pretty good. Grandia 2 is like an all-time JRPG classic.
Yeah.
If you haven't played that, it's really, really great.
Ironically enough, I was playing Grandia around about the same time I was playing Final Fantasy VIII.
Hey, there you go. Two great tastes that go great together. So I hope both of these hold up, because they really are classic games. And both of them were really great on release. So go check those out. Next up, Planet Zoo Console Edition comes out on PS5 and Series consoles. People seem to really like Planet Zoo when it came out, and I like these kind of sim management games, and the animals look real good, so this seems pretty cool. I don't know if I have the time to check out a game.
I sadly don't.
Yeah, but like, I might put this on my 2024 list of cool games that look awesome, but I can't forget about, because if I ever get the time, I could do another. I don't think the 2 Point team is coming out with anything soon, so maybe I have some time for a city builder here.
Dude, so. 2 Point Zoo. What is your next 2 Point game?
Yeah, what is the next? We have hospital and school. Yeah, maybe zoo, or maybe just They just have them give double middle fingers to EA and be like, 2-point theme park. What are you gonna do,
I was
buddy?
gonna say 2 Point Park, like that.
Right.
That
You gonna
would be
stop us?
interesting.
Yeah.
2 Point people.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, so Planet Zoo looks pretty good. Next up, a game I keep forgetting is actually coming out. South Park Snow Day comes out on PS5, Series Console, Switch, and PC. This is a really weird one. We had the first 2 games come out that were turn-based RPGs. That first one was shockingly pretty good. This is a third-person co-op beat 'em up / shooting action thing.
I think it's hilarious that you seem to be forgetting the South Park first-person shooter from the GoldenEye era, which was a shockingly good first-person shooter.
There were some interesting South Park games made then of like the Simpsons, that driving game did pretty well. We're going to make one of our own. Nope, that was bad. We've got a couple of third-person shooters. Most of them were bad. There was that one that was okay. But it's odd. I feel like it would take a lot for me to play another South Park game. But for them to make a game that seemingly had zero marketing behind it is really odd. So I don't know. I'm keeping an eye on this one just to see how it reviews, but I'm not expecting a ton here.
It's also a co-op game, like, so
yeah,
I'll be out.
Well, and they're like, oh yeah, you can put bots in your matches to play solo, and I was like, I don't want that either. Like those are always terrible. So I don't know, man. Next game here, Open Roads comes out PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series Consoles, Switch, and PC. This does come out Game Pass day and date. This is that kind of cell animated looking driving game where the woman and her mom are driving across country and having adventures. I didn't realize until they mentioned it here that Caitlin Dever and Kerry Russell are the 2 women in this game, which is interesting. But I've kept my eye on this for a while because this seems very much in my wheelhouse of potentially sad narrative exploration, walking around things. So we'll see how this does. But
ready to get broken again? That's the question.
That's my concern. I'm not sure if my emotions can really take this sort of game right now. Like, I'm still recovering from Life is Strange 2, maybe.
I mean, that's the funny thing is, like, dude, True Colors. Like, never mind 2. True Colors is the one I'm recovering from more.
So good. That game was great.
Yeah. Way underrated in the Life is Strange milieu.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because I actually feel like I've started playing less quote-unquote sad / destroying games since life has gone steadily downhill over the past, 5-6 years or so.
Our own life is strange.
We are the Walking Dead.
That's right. Did you know it was humans are the villains?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so like this seems like it's a game. I am interested in this game. It seems like a game that would really click with me. I'll get to it eventually. Maybe when this, like we said, the deluge of JRPGs this year abates a little bit, then maybe I can get into some real sad business. Last game here, Pepper Grinder, comes out on Switch and PC. I've also been keeping an eye on this game for a while. This is a really cool 2D side-scrolling game that you're a lady with a giant drill, and you're kind of using your drill to drill through various kind of surfaces and using that momentum to propel yourself from one surface to another.
This reminds me of Celeste.
Yeah, kind of has like the interesting physicsy stuff of Celeste with you launching yourself in a lot of cannons, kind of like a Donkey Kong Country sort of thing. Reminds me a little bit of Drill Dozer, where you're fighting a bunch of stuff with drills. So I don't know. I've been keeping an eye on this. I've been following the developer of this for a while, and it just looks cool. I'd recommend, if you can, watching some trailers or some GIFs of Pepper Grinder, because as soon as I saw them kind of like dipping in and out of various surfaces with your drill and using that momentum, I was like, all right, you got something pretty cool there. So let's talk about our Game Pass games of the week. The Last Case of Benedict Fox Definitive Edition comes to Game Pass. This is the Victorian-styled Metroidvania we covered. It came out like a year or two ago, I think. The Definitive Edition is coming out alongside this, where it's a patch where they're putting a bunch of new areas, some secrets, some extended stuff. So they're kind of taking that game and making it a little bit bigger. Diablo 4 comes out on Game Pass, the thing that I predicted would never happen. LOL, whoops. If you haven't played a Diablo game, or if you're interested in Diablo 4, Game Pass is kind of the perfect price to go check that out. It's a solid game. Hasn't really kept, I think, any of us connected to it sort of across our community, but I haven't dipped back into that for a little bit here. I don't know what season they're on, but just probably a problem in and of itself. And lastly, last one here is Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 is coming out, and I really liked that first one. I thought that first one was really cool, and it seems like this one is just, hey, we made that game and we just put way more stuff into it. So I don't think that can be a bad thing. I don't think. All right, we got a little bit of time here. We're going to save Torek00's question here for next week when the NIMP returns. We'll talk about T-Bomb Rock's question here. It says, what's up, game players? Hope all is well. Seems like the focus on Dragon's Dogma 2 is all on the microtransactions as opposed to if it's good or not. I, for one, am okay with microtransactions as long as it's not needed to progress in the game. We're going to take a break here. We haven't talked about Dragon's Dogma 2 because none of us have been playing it. I don't think NIMP is yet. Part of the conversation, to put it mildly, around Dragon's Dogma 2 is Capcom is selling, seemingly not in the game, but we're kind of at this point where everybody's mad to be mad, so the specifics and the facts around it are a little bit muddy. And they're selling additional stuff for, like, here's a get out of jail free key for $1. Here's like a resurrection stone for some amount of money. The thing that I feel like people are missing about this microtransaction conversation is this is all stuff you're getting in game naturally. And from people that have reviewed it fairly often, this stuff is kind of dropping in game. So it's not the only way to get a get out of jail free key is by buying it. It's, do you want one more for whatever reason? You can spend $1. You shouldn't, because you can get that stuff in game, but I'm not your boss. I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money. Additionally, I think part of the context that's missing is if you haven't played a non-AAA RPG, especially a JRPG, in a while, you've probably missed that this is kind of the natural thing. Like Atlas does it for SMT games a ton, where it's like, oh, you want this extra dungeon where you get 4 times the amount of gold for killing an enemy? It's $5. Here you go, you can do it. You want a bunch of like items, like here's a potion pack you can buy for games. It's $4 and you get a bunch of potions. You probably have 99 of them in the game anyway, so shouldn't be spending $4 on them. Doesn't excuse it. It's just kind of the state of the landscape in JRPGs at the moment. So I think a lot of the frustration around this has been people seeing this list of consumable things in like the Steam store or the Xbox store or whatever without the context of having played the game and sort of not knowing that you just get that stuff normally. So, he says, my question for you is, do you have any microtransactions you have reluctantly purchased, but afterwards it ended up being very helpful?
Not reluctantly, but I'll always, if I like a game, I will give them $3 to get rid of ads.
That's always kind of a classic. I feel like if I'm really enjoying a game, the majority of the things that I'll buy, like for mobile games, I'll always buy like, oh, it's $10 and you get like the founders pack or whatever. You get double XP.
Season passes.
Well, to me, season passes are a little bit different because there's like,
I know. There's an aim, there's a progression, there's rewards related to that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I'll usually buy season passes for stuff too. But I kind of always like the like founders packs or like the consistent packs of like you always get double gold and you get double XP and you get a fun pet that is super overpowered or things like that. I always kind of like those. Because I feel like for a little bit of money you get kind of a like an impactful thing. It's not just like now you have a cat wandering around with you instead of a blob. That sort of thing. I'm trying to think non-mobile games, if there's been anything I've bought kind of like on the console side that has felt like that.
I mean, like, I'll be honest, I don't do microtransactions. Like, I literally cannot think of a microtransaction I have done that has not been a season pass.
Yeah, because like most of the time nowadays I feel like it's a season pass, it's an expansion, or it's like maybe a cosmetic pack for something I'm playing. Like I'll occasionally buy stuff like that in like Destiny 2 or Fortnite. Maybe I'll spend like a couple of bucks for a cosmetic thing. I'm not spending $25 to put Ghostbusters in Destiny 2, Bungie. Please. But like I feel like I don't know if I'm sitting here trying to think is the nature of DLC in console and PC games now such that we don't have those kind of boosters anymore, or with those like time limited or item packs or weapon packs or stuff like that? Is that because of how the market has shifted, or is that because I'm not playing games that have those in them? I'm not entirely sure. Maybe both. I'm not sure.
Possibly both. Also, could be because we're not looking. Like, I don't look at the store anymore. I buy the game. I play the game. I deliberately don't go into stores, generally speaking.
Yeah, because like most of the stuff I'm playing, like a lot of the time there'll be like a PlayStation Store button, and I'll go in there and be like, half the time it just doesn't work because like either the store has nothing in it or it
takes forever to load.
Yeah, like it's taken forever to load, or it's stuff in there where it's like, do you want to get 10 more levels on your battle pass? And it's like, no, man, I'm okay. I'm already level 200, man. I'm okay. And I think part of it is the market has said like, hey, the best weapon in the game maybe should be something I can earn, and it's maybe not $7.99 from the store with like everybody's ultimate weapon pack. You know, that nobody likes that. Maybe you should stop doing that. So maybe it's a little bit of both. Yeah. But maybe that's a thing where I genuinely can't think of the last time I bought something and it's like, okay, now the game is kind of fundamentally different or better because I bought like the special edition, or I bought some pack or some DLC or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Appreciate that, T-Bone. And we'll carry over the other question here to next week because that's the end of our episode for this week. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page, including a link to the YouTube channel. Go like, comment, subscribe over there. All that stuff really does help. There's a video version of everything we put on the public feed. So if you want to see us alongside gameplay and stuff like that, all that stuff is over there. Don't forget patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones out there, boss.
Talked about all of the audio we put out every week at the top of the show. I can get all that. $5 a month is the recommended tier. That's per month, not per episode or per week or anything like that. So it's actually a lot of audio and a lot of content for just $5. So you can get a lot of cool stuff over there. If you can't support us financially, totally understand. Best way to help the show is share social media, tell your friends, rate on whatever podcast platform you're on. That especially really helps. Like leaving a short review where you're like, this is the best podcast on the internet, hooray! That sort of stuff really does help for discovery, getting more people listening to the show. And I think that's it. So we'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.
I'll take another drink of this because my throat hurts. Oh, it's like poison. Okay. Moon, what are your titles?
Okay. 50 shum. Calder Garfield phone, Princess Leia wannabe, Hot Take Moon, Burned into Your Soul, Preferred Puzzle Nomenclature, Teleporter and Bad Luck, and Ready to Get Broken Again, which feels like the human condition these days.
I gotta write down Preferred Puzzle Nomenclature. I'm doing a soft launch. I was an Amstrad boy, Freaky R-Type, Hot Take Moon, and Preferred Puzzle Nomenclature.
I mean, it makes no sense in the context I used it in, but you got the gist, so it's PPN, right?
Yes. If it wasn't for that, I'd probably be fighting for I was an Amstrad boy, because that's just...
nobody would get that joke.
That's a really good... Yeah, that's a really good one, but Preferred Puzzle Nomenclature, it has to be. There's no better TVGP title than that one.
Because you got the vibe, it was used incorrectly, and it's a really good set of words to say.
Yep. Like cellar door, it's just fun to say.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay.
Why would I want to sell a door when I need to buy a door?
Oh, got him.
Oh,
I stretch out my shoulders. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, brother.
Oh, you're going to have to fade me out, dude.
Oh, no. Okay.
I'm doing what I'm about to do with warning you that you're going to have to fade me out.
Arrow. Fade out. Also, by the way, have you listened to the last episode we put up for Critical Misses?
No, I wanted to check. Did you do the thing?
I did. I remembered to do it.
Yeah,
so
baby.
Instead of the clapping, we have Moon's performance.
I had a suspicion that you might have done it when I saw the first response after that posted was Pharaoh doing the cheeseburger and fries chant thing. But I'm really glad that you actually did it. I was like, oh, I need to wait till it downloads and then check and see if you did it, and I completely forgot.
Yep. I had to put it in there. It's too good not to. Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 857 for March 25th, 2024. Preferred Puzzle Nomenclature.
See, I like Sudoku, but I prefer crosswords. And like, I've got crossword dailies, I've got daily theme crosswords, I've got the New York Times games, but I don't want to do a subscription for my crossword puzzles, so therefore I'm just not paying for that kind of service. But crosswords is a really good service because it gives you different packs and you can download them all, and then they're all fun to do, and they're different difficulty levels. And I did one in 5 minutes the other day. That's enough for you to fade me out.
2 thumbs up, Moon. I love it. I'm gonna have a lot of fun trying to figure out where to fade that
just
perfectly.
Give me
but
2
it's
seconds.
Be good.
Like, let me finish crosswords and then just slowly fade it out.
It's gonna be really good. All right, thank you very much, everyone, for listening and watching. We greatly appreciate it. We hope we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.